Whether your radio dial is set to music or news or talk, each could be offensive.
But when it comes to making waves on the air, dicey language and spicy topics are turning up all over the dial. If you're not a regular to this type of radio, here's a word of caution. You may find it explicit. In this Assignment 10 report, you decide if Tampa Bay radio is blaring out airwaves or shockwaves.
I'm just a fella.
It used to be so simple. Turn on your radio and find wholesome family entertainment. Turn on your radio today and make your mother blush.
Bubba the Love Sponge, No Panties Thursday. Buff Muffin Free Ball, let your champion run wild.
Michael Jackson used to sniff used diapers. I ought to shock everybody.
Where have you ever had the best quickie sex of your life?
Well, you see, if you go to Diamond Dolls more often, you wouldn't be impotent.
I find it shocking. What we do, I find shocking.
Don't lose the license and make money. Those are the two main objectives.
Not just the main objectives of WFLA Operations Manager Gabe Hobbs, but of most radio stations across the country.
BS, you're some of the punk-ass fetus, aren't you?
He calls himself Bubba the Love Sponge, and he pushes all the legal limits nightly on Power 93.
I just think he's disgusting. Why? Because of things he says.
Some may call it shock radio. Bubba calls it real radio.
I try to relate my personality over the radio, and at times it does get shocky and dicey and raunchy and crazy, but for the most part, I think I'm real.
Bubba admits to being fired from 4 radio stations for outrageous behavior. But keep in mind, he's #1 at night.
The bottom line is that I have a 15-1 share of the market, and, I don't think the advertisers are buying what I say and my views. They're buying the people that are listening to my show.
You're going to pray to God that you outlive me by at least one day so that you can on my grave.
WSUN afternoon host Bob Lassiter works for a company that actually provides a list of words he can't say on the air. By comparison, the laws of the Federal Communications Commission are vague.
There's almost no word that in the right context you cannot legally say on the air.
Can you follow the FCC's definition of indecent language? It's language that describes in terms patently offensive as measured by contemporary community standards for the broadcast medium, sexual, excretory activities, and organs.
Sex on the run, where do you get it? Where is it available? How do you find it? How do you make time for sex?
ERIN Summers is the host of Passion Phone, a nightly radio program that may be the most sexually explicit in the state of Florida.
It is not locker room talk. It is not porn. It is just an adult discussion. And if you don't like it, don't listen. It certainly is not going to bother me.
And you'll hear more from these folks at 11 o'clock tonight. Now, since the beginning of 1993, the FCC has issued 14 fines to radio stations across the country for indecency and obscenity. The fines total more than $1.1 million, but most are in dispute and have not been paid. None of the stations are here in the Tampa Bay market. We also want to point out that Channel 10's parent company, Great American Communications, also owns Tampa Bay's WXTB 98 Rock.
Ahead, Dick Fletcher holds the weather key to your weekend plan.
There was a time when our air was pure and clean, but that was before these guys. Tonight at 11 is what they're saying for looting our airwaves.
There's nothing that we say on the air that cannot be heard at your local laundromat and, frankly, your local schoolyard.
What's this guy saying?
Buff Muffin Free Ball, let your I know you're saying something you're not supposed to, but we can't figure it out.
Listen in as the phone lines light up and you decide.
Are they airwaves or shockwaves? Assignment 10 on Talk Radio. Tonight on Tampa Bay's 10 News at 11, when news comes first.
Or early February.
Almost nothing is sacred these days when it comes to radio, except not losing the station's license. Radio personalities are pushing all the limits, but the legal limits are vague. You may find the language in this story explicit, but the Federal Communications Commission has never fined a Tampa Bay radio station. You be the judge. Are they airwaves or shockwaves?
Look at this. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3.
He brought a video camera with him, and we taped each other having sex.
Hey, hang on.
I will get the tape back.
Sure.
I at least want to see it.
Right, and maybe we can even amateur video. We got to rock. That's it till Muddy at 6. Sit, Mahamo!
If you're a stranger to Tampa Bay airwaves, you may be asking yourself,
You know who these two are? and their strange gay friend.
They're the original bad boys of Tampa Bay radio, Ron Bennington and Ron Diaz, better known as Ron and Ron.
And one major change, I no longer wear underwear on the program.
Yeah, that'll make it on.
In the past year, they've switched from FM to AM 620 in Tampa Bay and expanded by satellite to radio stations in 7 cities, 2 out of state. Ron and Ron say their show is neither shocking nor crude, and the rules are few.
Just get here by the time the show starts at 6.
And then leave at 10.
I think they have a very good idea as to what's good taste and what's bad taste.
St. Pete author Bob Andelman has written radio columns for both Bay Area newspapers and a local music magazine. He says Ron and Ron know the limits.
They know when to stop. They won't take it, I don't think they'll take it past, they won't cross a certain line. They know their market.
I had diarrhea once live on the air.
Bubba the Love Sponge on Power 93 pushes the envelope when it comes to broadcast laws. On this night, he's setting up a date for a lesbian.
Okay, how about we give your phone number out over the air, okay? And any lesbian babes, potential lesbian babes, that are interested in hooking up with some backward-ass, bayou country individual like yourself, okay? Have you been to the dentist the last 2 years?
This is called kissing the TV station's ass.
Mark Williams is the evening host on 970 WFLA. He believes there's a line of bad taste that's often crossed.
You hear this a lot on FM rock and roll, where things just they kind of push the envelope a little more than I'm comfortable with.
It's not always the person behind a microphone creating the controversy. In some cases, it's the callers making radio waves.
Warning. Passion phones often contains frank discussions of a sexually explicit nature. Parental discretion is advised.
Why is it that so many women fake orgasms?
That's typical of dozens of calls heard nightly on passion phones. The sexually explicit show is hosted by former Disney entertainer ERIN Summers. It's enough to make Mickey Mouse cover his ears.
And how was the sex?
Oh, God, it was wonderful. This man does everything. I mean, he's just so good. And he does it fast and good.
Now, Bubba the Love Sponge says lots of crude and probably illegal things, but in his own Power Pig Latin. Now, the FCC can't find a station for a word that doesn't exist. By the way, we want to mention that Channel 10's parent company owns WXTB, which is 98 Rock.
I don't agree with all of it, but it's very popular.
It is popular. You think of Howard Stern, who's probably the nation's top shock jock in the country right now. Best-selling book in Simon & Schuster's 86-year history, something like that.
That's
unbelievable.
amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, how many more gold medals does the U.S. own tonight? Dave Worth tallying the Olympic wins for you.